Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown. I just got done finishing Wonka. This movie is actually pretty good. It's a musical. I wasn't expecting for it to be a musical. I think I've heard it was going to be a musical, but I don't. But I probably didn't pay attention to it and stuff like that. The acting's pretty well done. The music is actually pretty catchy in my opinion. Um, and the ending stuff with pure imagination and all that stuff is just great. Obviously, I think the acting is pretty well and everything like that. The CGI on the Oompa Loompa could be better, but overall, it's not distracting to the point that you're like, oh my god, you actually get used to it. Um, funny enough, and I do like that. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I was just checking my charger, and I do like that it does. It's all. I do like that it's when you look when you if you ever read a Ralph Dolph book or even watch any of their movies, you would be like, this is perfect. This belongs right next to the Ralph Dolph movies, like The Witches, the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, and all that stuff. I think it belongs in that category. Look, I'll say this right now. I never wanted a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but if we ever going to get it, could at least be fun, engaging, and maybe if it has music, some good music. And it does. It does. It delivers. In my opinion, it delivers. And if you hate this movie, then you just hate whimsical, beautiful movies that just want to have fun. This movie does want to have fun. It also wants to wink to the classic, but also want to do something new. Like basically, if this was like if they really basically the moviegoers were like, hey, if there really was a Willy Wonka backstory, what would it be? You know? And it's kind of funny that the Tim Burton version goes with his dad and then this one goes with his mom. It's kind of funny that they did that. But hey, it's not bad. The backstory with Wonka's mom is pretty great, and why he makes chocolate is really pretty good. I think it's engaging, in my opinion. I think it's really good. It does have emotional moments in this movie, in my opinion. And then you find out some character's backstory, one character's backstory, which makes sense. You probably seen in a mile away, but you didn't care. And to be quite honest, I thought the villains were like the highlight of the movie. They like, especially the main villain. He was just chewing up the screen. He was just having so much fun. He literally was just like, oh, I could be a villain in these Gardolph books and movies. Oh hell yeah, I got this. You know, he the main villain that is Slugworth basically. I think he's great. I think he's great. Um, through the whole movie, I was literally like, I literally think of him when I'm reading like a freaking book of a Roald Dahl book, like James and the Giant Peach and Matilda and all that stuff, you know. So if you really watch those stuff, or even look, I haven't read a lot of those books. The only book that I read of Rolf Dahl is James and the Giant Peach. I do have Matilda. I kind of skimmed through it a bit, but not that much. I don't remember quite much with Matilda, but I did watch the Ralph Dahl movies. I grew up with it, and this fits along well with it, in my opinion. I don't. If anyone hates this movie, then I don't get your taste in movies. Actually, this is actually pretty fun, pretty good. The actor that plays Wonka, at first I was like, I give him a chance, and he does good. He does good. I'm surprised how much good he does. And I guarantee you, in the next like 5 or 10 years, people will look at him as like one of the definitive Wonkas right next to Gene Wilder. Yes, and people might want to point out Johnny Depp's version, which I'm not a big fan of the Johnny Depp version movie, but the movie is closer to the book. And really, in all honesty, we really haven't got the what Willy Wonka really looks like, because Willy Wonka looks like the Gene Wilder version, yes, but he actually has the mustache that I have. He has this and then this. You know, he has like the goatee and the mustache here. That's what Willy Wonka has. Um, but overall, um, that's why when people tell me, "Oh, what's the definitive Wonka?" Well, the book. Sorry, that's what he looks like. In the book, he has a freaking mustache and a nice freaking goatee here, you know. So I think that that is the definitive Wonka right there, you know. But Johnny Depp, in my opinion, looking back, I probably would have hated the I probably hated the movie. I talked shit about it in some videos and stuff like that. But looking back on Johnny Depp's performance, it was literally a President Bush slash Michael Jackson approach, which probably doesn't sell well for a lot of people. But some people that grew up with that movie liked it. And Charlie's not the best in that movie, which is kind of funny. In the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory version, Charlie's not the best, but in the Willy Wonka version, it is the best. You know, it's kind of funny that the movie did that. That the Willy Wonka version pays more attention to Charlie, while the Charlie Chocolate Factory version pays more to Willy Wonka. It's kind of funny that that happens. I mean, I don't hate it, to be quite honest with you. The thing is, when I first screwed up with the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka, I mean Charlie and Chocolate Factory, I saw its flaws, at least with what Johnny Depp was doing. But overall, I didn't hate the movie. And the only thing I questioned was Johnny Depp's performance, and also Charlie's performance. Because the actor that plays Charlie, he's done better things after this. To be quite honest with you, I think they just told him. I think Tim Burton just told him to just do this, and he was just like, oh, fine, whatever. Or maybe the script wasn't that much for him to chew on. Because that actor that plays Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of the Tim Burton version, he's not bad of an actor. I've seen him do other things now, like, oh my god, you know, he's good in Bates Motel. He's really good in that, and he's doing a series 2 called Doctor Something, and he's really good in that too. So he's a really good actor, and I'm so glad that he branched off to do other things to do a lot better. Because when I saw him as a kid, and I was a kid too, but when I saw him, I was a fan of him. And when he got that part, I was just like, damn. I hope that this doesn't ruin him, and it didn't. He grew out of that. He became better. Not even better. He just showed what he was capable of, you know. And people were just like, "Wow!" And I thought he was just, not that good of an actor. I'm like, no, no, man, it's just the script. He is a good actor. It's just the script from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate. I mean, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory wasn't that really good for Charlie. You know, it was good for the other kids, but it wasn't. But it wasn't. But it really wasn't good for Charlie, mainly because that's the thing with main characters. In main characters, we've all noticed this with main characters in movies and video games and all that. The reason the main characters is probably mainly because, all right, usually when the main character is not engaging for some people, is because the main character is trying to appeal to everybody, because the main character is trying to be everybody. And when it's trying to be everybody, at the same time, it doesn't have an existing character all by itself, and it's not relatable at that point. Basically, it's almost like when you play. It's almost like when you're playing Dragon Quest and you have a blank slate of a character. Basically, almost like the original Final Fantasy. So you have like a blank slate of a character. You make up the story as it goes along with that character before they go to the main quest of like a video game, for example. Um, that's just me. That's one of the reasons why like video games like Dark Souls pick a job class, because they will give you a backstory with that job class. I mean, you could think of it on your own, obviously, but once you have that job class, you'd be like, okay, if I'm a mage, then I was a mage that did this and that before I did all these stories. You know, you can make it up in your head, almost like a wrestling game, and that's why I've always been a big fan of like stuff like that, in my opinion. But it doesn't work well in a movie or in a book. It does work well in a video game, though. It's very hard to do that in a book, in a movie also. But overall, it's good. I think it's fine. Um, I'm overall it could be better in the future. I think maybe one day they will fix that in the future. Who knows? But maybe somebody out there that can make it better like that. Who knows? But overall, this Wonka movie, how do I feel about it overall? I think it's a solid movie. I like the soundtrack, to be quite honest with you. The soundtrack is probably one of the best soundtracks of everything. And yes, when I first saw look, when I first saw the opening of this movie, I'm like, oh, it's a musical. Is it going to be like every 5 minutes the music? And it is. If you don't like that, you might not like this movie. But I did not mind it. That is kind of a criticism that I might point for the movie, but since the movie is so charming and so good, I let it slide. You know, it's not like the fairy godparents one, when they keep doing musical every 5 minutes. Remember that one? Remember that one episode? It was just it was back. It was I think it was about the school or some shit like that. I forgot what episode it was about when it had the pixies and everything like that, and they kept singing and all that stuff like every 5 minutes and stuff like that. I'm just like, even though that Pixie song is pretty good in Fairy Godparents, I'll say that right now. That's probably one of the best musics in the whole freaking um soundtrack, in my opinion. Because that Fairy Godparents episode with them singing and all that, I'm not a fan. I think that episode is probably one of the weakest episodes of the Fairy Godparents. Come at me, because the only good music that was there was the Pixie version. That's just me. Everything else was just lackluster. Sorry. That's just how I felt with that Fairy Godparents episode. But this right here with the Wonka one, perfect. Just absolutely perfect. I think people should see this movie. Um, and if you never got a chance to watch this movie just because you were put off by it, give it a chance. Think this, look at this movie, and you could say it's part of the Gene Wilder version of Wonka, but you can also be like it's own thing that's separated from it, but also pays homage to the Gene Wilder version while being its own thing. So, and it does, and it's kind of funny too. When I was watching the movie, it kept reminding me of Harry Potter for some reason, because there's a whole like theory of like one of the twin boys of Ron's brothers, or is one of the one that survived is Willy Wonka. He just changed his name and stuff like that. That theory is so good to the point that when you watch this movie, the theory just holds up even more to the point. Okay, he has to be at this point. Willy Wonka went to the Wizarding World. Literally, Willy Wonka went to the Harry Potter universe to get all his shit. Literally, at this point, I want to be surprised. Oh, he went to Evermorny because he's not talking British. He's a an American. So most likely, um, he went to Evermorny, Wonka. You know. By the way, we should have an Evermorny movie. Hell yeah, the how Evermorny was made, but also the school in general. That's two movies right there that you can do. If Warner Brothers, listen up. But Warner Brothers did a good job with this movie. Um, I know some people might criticize that the Oompa Loompa should have been played by a little person, um, and not by a CGI person, because you know how people get offended by it nowadays. But overall, I think the actor that did really good with the Oompa Loompa did pretty well. Um, and overall, I don't think this movie's bad. I think it's pretty fun. Again, the characters are fun. The characters are all memorable, and the songs I think play in this movie is actually really good. It really is. It's actually not bad. I love the music. I love the music beats in this movie, and it's actually remembered. I think it's going to be remembered for a very very long time. I think it's going to be one of the classics right next to the Willy Wonka soundtrack, in my opinion. Some people might. I know some people might not like the Tim Burton soundtrack, but some of them have gems. Some of them have gems. Not all of them are good, but some of them are like the opening theme. Oh, that one's good, and then especially when Wonka is on the boat in the Tim Burton version with that song. That one's really good because they knew they couldn't top the original one, so they decided to do their own thing. That one's pretty good too. You know, if you put that song with the original one, oh, with the lighting and everything, oh my god, it'd be so creepy and disturbing. Oh god. Wouldn't it be funny if the actor that played Willy Wonka in this movie sang that song? Is it snowing? Is it raining? You know, I'm just like, oh my god. So I wish we got a little bit more of that creepiness with Wonka, but overall, it's not. Overall, it's great. It is. It's great. Um, like I said before, if you were holding back watching this movie, watch it. I think you will have a good time watching it. And have fun comparing the other two Wonka, two Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movies and Willy Wonka, and Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie and Willy Wonka movie compared to the Wonka movie, basically. So I know somebody's going to be like, should there be a sequel? And not every movie needs a sequel, people. And I don't think this one needs a sequel. I think this one is fine as the way it is, and it could be remembered forever. I don't mind. And it's a good movie. It is a good movie on its own, and it would stand for people that it was pretty a good adaptation for a backstory for Wonka. Because when I did hear that they were going to do this, I thought it was going to be shit. I thought it was going to be crap. But give credit to these people. They did a really good job. The choreograph, the singing and all that stuff, the way that the actors would sync in tune with each other when they were singing and all that just was great. It was great. So I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What do you think about this movie? Do you hate this movie? Do you wish they had more for you? Or do you think that this is a modern classic, to be quite honest with you? I think it's a modern classic. Maybe you might not see it now, but in a few years' times, give it 2 years, and I guarantee you, people will look at this as probably really a good movie. It probably won't be a classic because a classic doesn't happen until like 10 or 5 years from now. So when that does happen, I guarantee you, people will call this a classic. Oh, fun enough for so people go back to watch and listen to the music, listen to the actors, and just have a good time with a movie. So that's it, and I had a good time. So I'll see you guys later and be safe.